Samuel Lanjiro, the late, was your friend.
Absolutely.
And Samuel Lanjiro died of drinking.
Absolutely.
When you look at the scenario, Samuel Lanjiro's death and you surviving, how do you reconnect the two incidences?
Well, first and foremost, the day that my friend Samuel Lanjiro died,
yes,
I was hospitalized on the same day, having drunk 1.5 liters of vodka within 15 minutes. Okay? I blacked out and I was rushed to hospital. I was able to be given drips. And I think by around 9 at night, I was okay. Yes. I was brought back home.
Yes.
Now, around 4 a.m. in the morning, or 5, there is a boy that I was staying with. So he came knocking on my door. I was living in a country then.
Yes.
You know, he banged the door several times. Then I asked him, what is it? And he said, Samuel is no more. Charles, I cried. It still makes me emotional to date.
Yes.
Why do I say that, or why did I become emotional? Because I felt that yesterday when I was rushed to hospital,
yes,
having drunk 1.5 liters
yeah,
of vodka in a very short time,
yes,
I could have died myself. It became even more emotional to me when I learned why he died. It was because he had drunk.
Too much.
Now this is something that I have always talked with so many people. Some of our family members could be alcoholics and we do not know. We always blame them, Levy and such kind of words. But sometimes you need to find out that maybe this person is not well. Yes. And that is exactly what Samuel did not get, is the structures. Probably maybe the family did not understand, or anyone who was with around him did not understand that he was having a drinking problem. Yes. Because actually I remember at a certain point we were in London together, we were invited for a function, and we were drinking together.
Yes.
But the way I saw he was drinking at that time, I would see that it is not normal. Okay? Because it was off season and we were invited to UK, you know, to give speeches in a number of places, and in the evening, you know, that incident could happen. I wish if I knew then that, or if I had undergone treatment, for example, I would have been in a position to be able to help. Of course, I mean, since I came out, I've met a number of athletes that they have the same challenges, and I always talk to them. Even at the point that there was a time that I was running a certain business in an hotel, somebody would walk in and I would notice this is an alcoholic, this is not a social drinker. As alcoholics, we always say we envy the social drinkers, those guys who drink 1 beer and they go home. For us, the moment we start, it is non-stop. We always say 1 is too many, 1,000 is not enough.
1 is too many, 1,000 is not
enough.
Quote that one. But if you look at this alcoholism problem, it is brought by lack of structures and also because of the regime. Whenever you stop running, then you don't know what next to do. Yes. How deep is this problem in athletic circles?
Let me tell you, few sportsmen and women, and I'm not talking about athletics only.
Yes.
Nobody prepares for retirement.
Yes.
That's why sometimes we see these sportsmen and women who have been there for so long, and most of us will ask ourselves, why this person is still there? What are they still looking for?
Yes.
Okay? Nobody prepares for retirement. Now, there are incidences that retirement can come because of an injury. Sometimes it comes because, you know, you're no longer running very well and no agent wants you. Now, this, if you are not prepared for retirement, that automatically breeds, you know, this thing that you will choose to drown yourself with alcohol. In fact, most of the choices, if you see, and I say for sportsmen and women, artists, you know, name it, it's alcoholism is something that is across. Most of the time it comes from idleness. Because for me, as I said, you know, it was a vacuum of not having anything to do. And therefore, what would I choose, you know? A drink today, before you know it, you want more, because you're doing nothing. Yeah.
And it becomes a problem.
Absolutely.
So if you talked about in your hotel, you're the only man who had a Bungei share.
Well,
Bungei share
yes.
in Kapsa.
Kabiri Sang, yes.
Those houses, how much did it cost you to build them?
Well, I wouldn't mention how much it costed me, but I would only tell you why I did that.
Yes.
Actually, you know, it was this company, Standard, that was able to put on the front page, and they put it, Bungei Shire.
Yes.
What happened, Charles, is that when I used to live in Italy, I would always tell myself, I don't want to miss Europe when I go home.
Yes.
I want to create something that I have seen out there.
Yes.
That is why when I decided to build, the 2 houses I have, was purely on the fact that I wanted to create something that I see out there. I'm one person, Charles. If I come here, for example, I want to pick something that is good. I want to always, or if I go somewhere, I want to leave something better than I found. So since I was living in a thatched hut, what we call Singira, I wanted to create myself something that I do not need necessarily to miss Europe or miss the fact that I was running around the world and living in these nice houses and all that. I said, why can I create for myself one? So that's why I will not give you the figures.
And it was something quite impressive.
Well, absolutely, yes.
And if you look at the many athletes, they do not know how to manage their money.
Yes.
At least you, among the athletes who left running and had properties well in place, is it because you went to Europe when you're young and you had this manager who took you through the paces? Or what happened to these other athletes who the money just disappears?
I think number one is, I would say that is a very good question, because this is a discussion actually we have had in many cycles. And people are asking themselves, and especially for you guys in the media, you would always want to bring this person who was once an Olympic champion. The next thing you meet them, they are wearing slippers, one blue, one red, and you wonder what happened to these people.
Yes.
Now, there is a challenge in this. Number one, remember that most sportsmen and women, they get a lot of money when they are still very young.
Yeah.
Number two, most of them, they may not get someone to advise them on investment. Number three, most of them are what I called somebody who wants, they think about, you look at the money because you are young and you think that you cannot listen to anybody. You think the know-it-all. Yes, the know-it-all syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay? This is one challenge that we have had. And I think even not so long ago, I had a conversation with Waziri Sports, the current Waziri, Babu Namwamba, and he was like, Wilfred, what can we do so that we don't see these incidences? I think it falls also on the federation and the agents. I was fortunate to have a very good agent who mentored, and a coach who mentored me like a father, who would always tell me, Wilfred, every money that you get, make sure that you invest. Okay, make sure that because a shelf life of a sports person is so short. Most of us, we retire at the age of 30.
30, you are
now,
gone.
You retire at the age of 30, Charles. What are you going to do all the other years if you don't invest very well? Okay? Number two, we have a big problem actually. And this is a conversation I had with a friend. And he asked me, Wilfred, if today at 22, you want to buy a V8 car, you want to buy a TX, you want to buy a Mercedes, what will you drive when you are 50?
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. This is why you get so many of our sportsmen and women. The first thing that they do, they may not even build even at themselves a house, but they will start with a car. My agent told me, Wilfred, cars, you can buy them later on. What you do, invest your money first.
Yes.
Okay? So this is something. And then another thing is a lifestyle, there's those guys who want to live certain lifestyle. If I live today in Europe, if I'm staying in a 5-star hotel, I want when I come back in Kenya, instead of going back home, you want to spend all the money in a 5-star hotel just because you have been doing that. And this is where we go wrong as athletes. And I think, it's a conversation, Charles, that needs more discussion.
How do we amplify it, and how do we harness this to many people?
First and foremost, we have got to talk to our sportsmen and women. And especially for our athletes, we need to talk to them to understand that the kind of money they are making right now, they will never see after they are retired.
Yes.
Look, for example, if you win Olympic today, number one, kitting company may give you 100, 200,000.
Dollars.
Yes, the winning prize, for example, in World Championship is 60,000. In a payday for one single day, you may even get 200,000. If you look at some of the marathoners, you know, we are talking about 200, 300,000 USD, 30 million in a single day.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That is money that you will never see after. And this is why we need to talk to our sportsmen and women to understand that they need to invest so that at least they have a better life.
So why you've among your investment was that hotel of yours which you ran for some time. You decided, and then you went into politics.
Well,
the political journey, a bit of it.
Yes. I think that is one part that is interesting. Some people sometimes ask me, Wilfred, why did you choose to go to politics?
Yes.
You know, when you are running and maybe you make some few money. Every now and then you are in a country, you know, people will want to come for help and ABCD, you know, so many things. Yes. So I decided to run for political seat, a parliamentary seat actually in Mgwen in 2017.
Yes.
The reason why I ran was not for a name, because Giles, I always tell people that the name that I built during athletics is bigger than an MP, but I was doing it for the sake of the people. Yes. Of course, I would not call it a mistake, despite the fact that, of course, you know, I spend so much money in it. I won't mention how much I spend, but I want to say that when you ask me about the hotel, yes, I run the hotel, but then I'm a business person. If I enter into a business and I'm not able to make money, I just get out of that business. Yes. So I got out of it, and I had intention of coming here, but of course, you know, I had made a choice to go to politics. It never worked. You know, you understand what politics is in this country. You know, it's a different game altogether.
It is not what your vision is.
Yes,
it is
but
what
of course, you know, I take it with a lot of pride, because when you are a sports person, you may train today and you think that you are going to win a race, then you end up not performing well, and you ask yourself, I've trained really hard, what is happening? So even when I lost those seats, I just say I'll still continue with my life. I can say that, okay, of course, running hotel business, I've learned a lot of experience in terms of hospitality, in terms of service industry, because that is basically service industry. So it has been able to guide me in the next chapter of my life that I have right now.
So if you look at your life and the challenges you have undergone, when you sit down with your wife, what does she tell you?
You have asked me a question that I have never thought of, but I think first and foremost, I have had a very supporting family. That one I can tell you, despite the fact that, you know, during the time that I'm really down, you know, always there is that support, because they understand that Wilfred is a go-getter. Okay, yes. It doesn't matter. Even when I lost elections in 2017, I was dismissed. Everybody was like, you know, Bungei ameisha, you know, there's nothing. Of course, at the end of the day, I had my own other investments that I had done.
And you bounced back big.
Yes, exactly, and have bounced back, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. Yes. So I think sports has really helped me in terms of, you know, being able to take every disappointment. And then also, when you have a family that supports you, you know, that they will see you today being down and they don't push you down. You see, unfortunately, sometimes you may have people in your life, when you are down, instead of trying to uplift you or even encourage you, they put you down. And I've been very fortunate on that.
So if you look at the legacy, because that's family, let's move to legacy. The legacy of Wilfred Bungei, what would you say about it?
Giles, look, I think my legacy is not yet finished, if I may say so.
Yes, it's
not yet finished, because I still believe that there is so much that I can still achieve in this life. My biggest legacy, number one, I would say being a father. I love my kids, all my kids. I like to watch them grow. I'm a family man person, you know, that I want to make sure that I give the best to my kids in terms of education. You know, I'm one person that fundraisings nilifanyiwa, you know, I was done fundraisings for me to be in school. And therefore, you know, when I God blessed me with a talent, I said, now I need to give a better education to my kids. And number two, of course, is always being the team captain. Because why do I say my biggest legacy as a captain, Giles? Remember, you're a sports person. You are supposed to bring unity between the government officials, the federations, and the athletes themselves. And remember, you yourself, you're an athlete. You're supposed to be concentrating on your race, not solving issues. All of us, we have seen most federations, they have issues. We always see sportsmen and women complaining when they go out. You know, there's no kitting, there's no allowances, there was no ticket, there was no all those things. This falls under the captainship for you to be able to solve these things. And even in 2008, we had big challenges. You know, not that, you know, sometimes I see some of the challenges that people are talking about. I cannot compare with 2008. I'm involved so much in so many things that is going on in sports in this country. And sometimes when I hear people talking about, you know, we have this problem, and I'm like, I wish you were there in 2008 to see the kind of challenges we had. But at the end of the day, what is important is for you to be able to bring that unity and understand that, you know, why we are going for the Olympics is for the country, not for you as an individual. And that is why always it remains my biggest legacy.
Looking forward, if you are told to run the federation, what changes would you make?
I think there should be a more conversation and more friendliness and cooperation among the federation and the people who are in action. And I'm talking about all the federations. You see, if you look at the clauses that guides who is a member of federation, an active athlete is nowhere. Okay?
Which is wrong, totally.
Yes. An active sportsman and woman, they are nowhere in a federation. And I believe that they should have a say in everything that is going on, because you cannot make changes or make policies that will affect this person. They should be asked, they should be part and parcel of contribution of any changes that need to be made.
And it's good to have a stakeholder who actually participates.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at let's talk about NAT, for example, teachers, you know, every teacher must be a member.
Yes.
And anything that is being decided there are decided by the, yes, exactly. But you see, in athletics now, or in sports, it's all about the federation, those people who are there who make decisions for everybody. And this is where we have a challenge. And I think that is what we need to change.
It's totally lopsided, if you may say so. But if you look at other things which, if you look at their journey, Bungei, I know your lowest point, of course, is alcoholism.
Yes.
Your highest point is, of course, when you won the gold and the Kenyan captain. What would you say were also things which inspired you into all these achievements?
I think for me, the way I say it, I like to always, if I'm given a task, I like always to do my best, to the best of my ability. That is something that I always want to achieve. Number two, there is a belief that it is always in me, that leave a place better than you found. I give you an example. When my daughter joined St. Mary's Tertiary School, I was in Form 1 and I was given to be the class rep. From the class rep, they elect a chairman, a TA chair.
Yes, yeah.
So I was elected to be the chair of that school when I was in Form 1. And I remember I had to talk with the parents, and I told them that there is no way that I will accept, because why? The school was not performing well. We were sending 20 students out of over 200. We were only sending 20 students to university. So I told them I would only accept this position if you will agree on the things that I want. And let me tell you, Charles, from 20, when I was in Form 2, we sent 67. When I was in Form 3, we sent 111. When I was in Form 4, we sent 216 students to university. Okay?
Yes.
It is, so I am a believer that if given a chance, why don't you try to push something and achieve something, so that when you are moving out, people will remember. To date, I mean, that's about what, a year and a half, no, 2 years ago. And to date, even when my term finished, the parents who were there at that time were like, Wilfred, please, utuchukulia hawa wenye wako Form 4 sahi mpaka wamalize. Don't go fast. Okay? So, for me, I always believe that something that you are supposed to do is to bring kind of unity and a good cohesion among the people that you are working with, that you want to achieve something. And that is something that I always want to achieve, Charles.
Any of your kids are taking athletics?
Well, my son, who was schooling in St. Andrew's Turi, was always the best in the school. He has finished. He should be going to UK. He's running. I have my daughter who is in Moi Girls. Unfortunately, she came here and, they are not so big in athletics. You see, sometimes we have this challenge that some students may be put in certain school, and then maybe if they are not so much keen in terms of the sport that they are in, then they lose interest. But of course, I believe that actually his name is Wilfred also. He's Wilfred Jr. I believe that, once he goes to school in UK, definitely he will run, yeah. But I've told him, he should have an open mind. Yeah. He was doing rugby, doing swimming and all that. So I told him, have an open mind. You don't have to necessarily to go to athletics, but you can do something else.
No, it's good. Athletics or any other sport is still sport.
Absolutely.
If you look at the Kenyan heroes, men and women who've carried our flag and raised it higher than we expect, who would you say are the people who have really nurtured this dream of Kenyan winning these races? Who are your favorite athletes?
I think for me, I would go first with coaching, because for a championships, for us to get medals, it takes those coaches who are there.
Yes.
And I think Mike Koskei stands out.
Mike Koskei.
Mike Koskei stands out as the best coach we have ever had.
Yes.
Of course, when you're talking about athletes, we have got so many of them, and it becomes so difficult for me. Because of course, we have Eliud Kipchoge, we have Rudisha, we have Catherine Dereba, we have Pamela, we have Janet. We have Ellen Obiri, who is still
Helen
active
is very
at the moment.
good.
Yes, she's very good. Yeah. And of course, the old man Kipchoge Keino, the pioneers. Yes. Because we have got to give credit to those people who started athletics in this country, because all of us have been able now to emulate them.
And as we close, if you look at the generation which we have now, the past, do you have hopes for the future?
Well, I think there's only one challenge that I'd want to point out. If you look at the current generation, because we have had this incident of doping at the moment, ask yourself, why are we suddenly having doping in Kenya? It is because the current generation, they want to achieve everything within a very short time. Okay? They do not look at the history. How long did it take Wilfred Bungei from the time that he started to winning a gold medal? How long did it take Janet Chepkoskei from being a junior to winning medal? How long did it take Eliud Kipchoge, for example? Eliud, I ran with him. He broke world record the other day. Yes. Eliud has run for over 20 years.
He ran 20 years.
So for him to be able to achieve that, and this is something that I have a problem with the current generation. They are the people who want to take a lift in life. And part of the things that I do is to do what we call motivational speaking. Yes. And I always go around talking to them and telling them that, you know what, you cannot achieve what you think you want to achieve within a very short time. Have a long-term plan, and that will be able to save you.
So this doping issue, how do you sort it?
Giles, 2009, we are talking about 15 years ago.
Yes.
I went to a press conference and I said it should be criminalized. And people blasted me. They say, Wilfred, you are too harsh to the sportsmen and women. 14 years, 15 years later on, everybody is talking about criminalization. Had we kept then, I believe it should have been a closed chapter. So, issue of doping should be criminalized because it is cheating, it is stealing someone's victory, and there is no difference between with somebody who steals anything. So for me, criminalizing, of course, for the young ones, they need to be taught, because why should somebody come and ask you, use this? And I have got two things. You can only criminalize and especially give a fair punishment to someone who takes those substances that you can only get through injection. EPO, for example. EPO, okay?
That one you inject.
You have to inject.
That one you
As
inject.
A professional athlete, what is this that you agree for you to be injected?
Yes.
That is why I say some of it, some of them could be
by
mistakes.
Yes.
So those ones can have a lenient sentences or whatever punishment that can be given. So, but otherwise, when it comes to Those guys who are... those ones, and the new substances. You see, the biggest problem that we have, especially when it comes to doping, all these guys, they are always finding something new every now and then. And that is what they are trying to do. And I can tell you, they will spoil the sport that has built this country for so many years. So as a country, we need to have a conversation, and have a conversation among the Kenyan athletes.
Your future plans?
My future plans at the moment is pursuing my business goals, and of course, other things that I try to do. I think politics may not be for me. Yes. So, but at the moment, I just want to pursue being a business person that I have been always.
And I like a new car.
Thank you so much.
I like a new car.
I know, look, unfortunately, when you go to politics, Charles, let me tell you, and I hope that you will go to politics soon.
No.
You go to politics, utakulwa, umalizwe, and people will say, uyo jamaa ameisha.
Yes.
The moment they see you with something new, they will be like, oh, kumbe survive, And,
when they see a new car, they're wondering.
Exactly. They are wondering, how do you survive? I always tell people I'm a cat, with 9 lives.
And I like your cat indeed, and I like your shoes. You must tell me your plug.
Thank you, Charles. I love shoes, actually.
Yeah?
That is something I can tell you. I love shoes. Is one thing. You see, if you live in Italy like me,
yes.
Italians, they like to dress well, they like shoes, they like good food.
Yes.
that's why I'm pursuing that line. I was in food industry.
Yes, food industry. You have nice shoes.
Some things. So we always say, if you go to Rome, do what?
What Romans do.
If you go to Rome, do what Romans do. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
And you're a true Roman.
Thank you so much,
my brother.
Thank you
for showing up. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, asante.
Of course, that's a great champion himself, Wilfred Bungei, the man who has brought us a lot of fame, a lot of fortune in this country, and he's given us the lowdowns, the upside, and everything about sport. Keep watching. This is the History Makers.